Good evening. I'm not going to look out the window, the curtains are closed. It's cold. Don't have to say anything about that. And welcome to Dice and Bolts, where I look at the core mechanics or the dice and bolts of the various games that line my RPG shelf. Coming through a little bit slower these days, largely on the basis that I think I've done most of my games. I think the only two that I've got that I haven't done that I could do are Tales from the Floating Vagabond and Space 1889. I'd possibly rather not do that because it's mouldy. Okay, this evening I am going to have a look at the core dice mechanics of this thing, BORG. I know a lot of people say BORG, but the pronunciation guide apparently says it's BORG. Dark Castle. This is, I think, possibly the darling game of 2020. This is the black metal, doom metal album of a game, a spite fail to the face, rules light, heavy, everything else. This game, this book, you probably can't see it on my webcam, it is cheap. The cover is fantastic. So the skeleton is textured and indented. And then on its shield, you have spot gloss on the blood splatters. The game or the book uses 4 or 5 different types of paper. Magno Salis satin 170 grams, pure rough 120 grams, natural 140. Yeah, 3 different types of paper and over 100 typefaces. So just random pages. Setting map. And then on this page we have, crikey, it's almost killing that thing where it's got multiple typefaces in the same paragraph. Now, here's the thing. I, not massively, but I pointed out and I've commented rather negatively that the back cover of a game called Numenon has multiple typefaces in the same paragraph because it feels jarring. This is supposed to feel jarring. No two ways around it. It is beautiful. The book feels good. You're reading through it, then every so often you come across like a glossy art page. There's the famous one. Just partway through, start of the adventure, rot black sludge, and then you've got like a gold foil, inverted crossed out cross. It's amazing, and they've obviously aimed for a certain feel when they're designing the game and hit whatever they were trying to hit. And the core of it is designed, as it says, a spiked flail to the face, rules light, heavy on everything else. There's not a huge amount of setting, like crunch, this village, this forest, that forest. There's a smattering of monsters. There's no official character sheet in there because you don't need it. You can download a PDF, but it's not in the book. So they've saved a bit of space there. There are a lot of very simple, straightforward tables. The core dice and bolts of it is that you've got 4 attributes: strength, agility, presence, and toughness. Fairly self-explanatory. And they're all modifiers -3 to +3. You roll a 20-sided dice. I've just realised that dice is just really illegible in this light. Yeah, you roll a 20-sided dice, add your modifier, meet or beat a difficulty rating of the task. The 1 I just got there is a fumble. 20s are criticals. Similar, straightforward. You've seen it on everything from D20X to Talislanta to everything else. And it makes sure it's nice and simple. It does what it says on the tin. You would then roll a polyhedral for damage. So D4, I think short swords are like D4s, D6s for long swords, whatever. Smaller dice than you'd see in the D20 system because you've got a lot less hit points. You'd start off with your toughness modifier. I rolled a character earlier and it's hard to get on 3d6. It's hard to get much more than a +1. In 4 stats, I've got a -2, a -1 and 2 zeros. Yeah, so you start off with your toughness modifier plus D8 hit points. And when the GM decides that you might get better, you roll 6d10. If that's over your current hit points, then you gain an extra d6 hit points. So if you survive your first couple of encounters, first couple of milestones, it's milestone leveling without calling it milestones. If you survive the first couple, you're going to last a little bit longer. It does say in character creation, the last step, give your character a name. It won't help them, but you can name them if you like. It's that kind of game. Yeah, that's the dice and bolts. D20, modifier -3 to +3, meet or beat a difficulty rating. I'll possibly do a more full review, but there's not a huge amount extra to review. So I'll call this a dice and bolts and review. Am I glad I bought it? Yes, I bought it on the spur of a moment. I got it through Modifius. I'd gone on there to buy one book and I bought this one as well. It had been kind of on my radar, but not on my list for ages. I saw it and I thought, yeah, might as well. I like my small format books. See what all the fuss is about. I can see what the fuss is about. Am I likely to run it? I don't know. I have a lot of very simple games at the moment. So I've got Hypertellurians, I've got Troika that's waiting to be run, I've got Electric Bastionland that's waiting to be run, and Troika and Bastionland are more tuned to where I want to be running games. I'll possibly play it. So if anybody's running MORK BORG online, hit me up. That's the dice and bolts. Roll well. See you soon.